Top 10 Highest Mountains in Africa. Hello explorers, welcome to another informative video and thanks for watching. In today's video, we shall be counting down the top 10 highest mountains in Africa. Africa is a continent with 54 sovereign nations, which are all beautiful and amazing in their own unique ways. The continent is known worldwide for its alluring tourist destination, its breathtaking views, wildlife and vibrant cultures. When people visit African nations, they always look for a break from their daily hassles of life. To some, the best places to visit are islands and beaches of the continent, from Zanzibar to Watamu to Pemba. The beaches offer a great escape, but they are also the lovers of its mountains that attract tourists from across the world. Africa has many mountains that offer outstanding physical features and sites which attract both local and international tourists who visit the sites to enjoy their beauty. These mountains are either volcanic or dormant in nature. If you're new here, welcome. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our daily uploads. The highest mountain in the world is Mount Everest, and without delay, these are the top 10 highest mountains in Africa. Number 10. Mount Ras Dashen, Ethiopia. Height 4.550 meters. Ras Dashen is the highest mountain in Ethiopia and 10th highest mountain of Africa. As part of Simien Mountains National Park located in the Amhara region, it reaches an elevation of 4,550 meters. Due to the height of this mountain, it frequently snows on the summit during cold evening temperatures, but the vast temperature difference between night and day means that this snow doesn't last long as soon as the sun rises. In winter, snow falls rarely, since the majority of Ethiopia's yearly rainfall is in the summer, but if it does, it usually lasts for weeks or months. The first recorded ascent by a Eurasian was in 1841 by the French officers Ferret and Galinier. There is no verifiable evidence of earlier ascents by locals, but the summit climate and conditions are relatively hospitable. There are nearby high-altitude pastoral settlements. Number 9. Mount Meru, Tanzania. Height 4,566 meters. The 9th highest mountain in Africa falls to Mount Meru in Tanzania, just lying 70 kilometers west of the highest peak in this video. Mount Meru sits at 4,566 meters. The majority of this mountain was actually lost during a volcanic eruption over 8,000 years ago that blew away much of the eastern side of this volcano. After a few recent eruptions, with the most recent being a minor eruption in 1910, Mount Meru is now considered a dormant volcano. Number 8. Mount Luigi di Savoia, Congo, Uganda. Height 4,627 meters. After ascending the 6 highest mountains in Rwenzori range, with 16 peaks bagged in total during his expedition to the region in 1906, Prince Luigi Amadio finally had a peak named after himself after reaching the summit of Mount Luigi di Savoia on 18th June 1906. Mount Luigi di Savoia is similar to the other large peaks in the region in that it is composed of many summits all joined together to create a small mass, with the largest of these peaks being Sella. With a height of 4,627 meters, Mount Luigi di Savoia is the 8th highest mountain in Africa. Number 7. Mount Gesi, Congo, Uganda. Height 4,715 meters. Coming in at the 7th position is Mount Gesi at 4,715 meters. The twin peaks of Mount Gesi create another jagged ridge land that is flanked by large glaciers on its northern side, although these are retreating fast. Prince Luigi Amadio and his team of explorers observed that the whole of the western side of Mount Gesi had been covered by a glacier during their first ascent of this peak. These glaciers have now shrunk down to a small ice sheet. The mountain is located between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda and is a tourist hotspot. Number 6. Mount Emin, DR Congo. Height 4,789 meters. Mount Emin is made up of 2 peaks of a similar height, a north and a south peak, with a larger glacier sandwiched in between the 2 peaks. The south peak, named Umbeto, is the largest of the 2 and was first ascended again by Prince Luigi Amadio and 2 companions in 1906. The technical nature of climbing involved to ascend the southern ridge up to Umbeto. Mount Emin is one of the 6 mountains of the Rwenzori range, and like Mount Gesi, it is located north of the triangle formed by Mounts Stanley, Speke and Baka. Emin and Gesi lie on either side of a long narrow valley running north and south. Emin's twin summits are Umbeto and Krabbeling. The mountain rises to a rocky north-south ridge with a higher peak at the southern end. Number 5. Mount Baker, Uganda. Height 4,844 meters. Also sitting in the Rwenzori Mountains National Park and just 2.3 kilometers from neighboring Mount Stanley is Mount Baker. Mount Baker reaches a lofty height of 4,844 meters, similarly to all of the other peaks situated in the Rwenzori Mountains National Park. Mount Baker is comprised of a cluster of fairly inaccessible summits joined together by a jagged ridgeline which is topped by Edward Peak, which was first climbed again by none other than Prince Luigi Amadio. Number 4. Mount Speker, Uganda. Height 4,890 meters. Mount Speker lies in the Rwenzori Mountains National Park in Uganda and is the second highest mountain in this range. All mountains in this range consist of multiple jagged peaks. Mount Speker's summits are Vittorio Emanuele, 4,890 meters, Esonga, 4,865 meters, Johnston, 4,834 meters, and Trident, 4,572 meters. Together with Mount Stanley and Mount Baker, it forms a triangle enclosing the upper Bujuku Valley. The nearest peak is Mount Stanley to the southwest. The mountains lie within an area called the Mountains of the Moon, and just like Mount Stanley, Prince Luigi Amadio was the first to climb this peak back in 1906. The Baganda, who were based within the foothills of the Rwenzori Mountains National Park, used to call Mount Speker Gambaragara, which translates to "my eyes pain," from where they used to look up at Mount Speker and be blinded by the reflection of the sun on the alpine snow. Number 3. Mount Stanley, Congo, Uganda. Height 5,109 meters. Mount Stanley or Mount Ngaliema is a mountain located in the Rwenzori Range. With an elevation of 5,109 meters, it is the highest mountain of both the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Uganda, and the third highest in Africa. The peak and several other surrounding peaks are high enough to support glaciers. Mount Stanley is named after the journalist and explorer Sir Henry Morton Stanley and is part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Mount Stanley consists of two twin summits and several lower peaks. The first recorded ascent of Mount Stanley was in 1906 by Luigi Amadio, J. Petigax, C. Ollier, and J. Brocherel. Makechira Peak is named after the Queen Margherita of Italy. Number 2. Mount Kenya, Kenya. Height 5,199 meters. Mount Kenya is the highest mountain in Kenya and the second highest in Africa. The highest peaks of the mountain are Batian 5,199 meters, Nelion 5,188 meters, and Point Lenana 4,985 meters. Mount Kenya is located in the former eastern and central provinces of Kenya and is the source of the name of the Republic of Kenya. Mount Kenya is a stratovolcano created approximately 3 million years after the opening of the East African Rift. Before glaciation, it was 7,000 meters high. It was covered by an ice cap for thousands of years. This has resulted in very eroded slopes and numerous valleys radiating from the center. There are currently 11 small glaciers which are shrinking rapidly and will likely be gone forever by 2050 due to global warming. The forested slopes are an important source of water for much of Kenya. There are several vegetation bands from the base to the summit. The lower slopes are covered by different types of forest. Many alpine species are endemic to Mount Kenya, such as the giants Lobelias and Senecio, and the local subspecies of rock hyrax. An area of 715 square kilometers around the center of the mountain was designated a national park and listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1997, and currently the park receives over 16,000 visitors per year. Sir Halford Mackinder was the first to reach the summit of Mount Kenya along with two of his companions on 13 September 1899. Number 1. Mount Kilimanjaro, Tanzania. Height 5,895 meters. Mount Kilimanjaro is a dominant volcano in Tanzania. It is the highest mountain in Africa and the highest single freestanding mountain in the world, with its summit of 5,895 meters above sea level and at about 4,900 meters high from its plateau base. Kilimanjaro is also the fourth most topographically prominent peak on Earth. The first people known to have reached the summit of the mountains were Hans Meyer and Ludwig Purcell in 1889. The mountain is part of Kilimanjaro's National Park and is a major climbing destination. Because of its shrinking glaciers and disappearing ice fields, the mountain has been the subject of many scientific studies. Considered a dominant volcano, as the last volcano activity of this mountain was over 200 years ago when lava poured out of the highest summit. There you have it, explorers. Those were the top 10 highest mountains in Africa. Thanks for watching this video. If you want us to cover any of your top 10 topics, leave a suggestion in the comment and we will do well to grant your request. Also, if you did enjoy this video, do well to give it a thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe and share with your friends.